All right, I'm throwing a ball of clay here. I'm centering it. As you can see there, I'm patting it into place, getting it kind of rounded out before I start to actually center it. Now I'm centering the clay, just working it up and down a few times. That'll mix the clay really well. Makes it very consistent all the way through doing that. And you check for any air bubbles or lumps or anything else that might cause a problem in there, especially air pockets. No potter loves an air pocket in a ball of clay or a lump. But anyway, I'm centering the clay here, pulling it up and down. I'm about ready to start spreading it out. The image on the right is the bowl when it was finished. I make larger bowls for the surface area on the outside that I like to stain and carve, put different types of patterns on. So that's mainly why they have that odd shape. They're not kitchenware or functional ware. They're mostly decorative items for display. So here I'm centering the clay, starting to open it up a little bit more with each pull there. Sort of a lateral pull, spreading it out, and trying to get a nice level base on the bottom. It's not too thick, not too thin, making sure it feels nice and smooth. I'm just going to give it a double check here with the pen tool. It looks pretty good. Now I'm going to compress it down with a small rib, press it as smooth as possible, and then make it as level as possible again. Take it out to the inside diameter of the future bowl. Here I'm starting to do a pull on the wall. I have my both hands contacting one another. I do that as often as possible. Gives me a good relationship or location of both fingers and how far apart they are as as the thickness tapers down as I go towards the top, except for a nice bead around the top that lets me open up the bowl, as you can see. So the wall a lot of times tapers down, leave the bead on there, and it still allows it to spread out without having an ultra thin edge or lip on the bowl. So I'm doing another pull on the clay here. It's going up nice and smooth. It's about the right consistency as far as moisture. It's not too soft, not too stiff. It's easy to pull, easy to work with and maneuver and manipulate. So there, I've got a sponge in my hand too. A lot of times I carry that in there. It's almost for me that's pretty common to have a sponge. So then I'm doing a pull there, leaving that little bead at the top there for the lip. Doing another vertical pull on the clay here. Just kind of getting it into the rough draft of the shape that I want to actually give some form to besides just a straight cylinder. So here I'm just moistening it down with some slurry. I like to do that a little more than use water. The slurry is definitely very moist, but it doesn't seem to impact the clay surface, the moisture level, as much as just putting water or dripping a little water on there. So I try to use the slurry as much as possible. That's probably a pretty common action among a lot of potters. So here I am using a rib now. I'm doing a much lighter pull, and I'm spreading it out or opening it up a little bit there. You can see the lip flare out a little bit. I'm going to do another. I'm just doing a little touch up there, leaving that little bead at the top. Here I'm doing another pull here. Now my hands aren't contacting one another, but I still try to keep a consistent relationship. So the wall has either a consistent tapering down of the thickness on the way up, or it's about the same all the way up and down. Here I'm just doing a soft touch on the bead of the clay or the rim, using the rib again to open it up, flare it out a little bit more. You'll see it wobble a little bit there, then it'll just sort of just all of a sudden pop out into a nice circular rim. Here I'm just going to mop up a little clay first and use that on the wall, and then I'm going to lightly touch it and pull it up again. Again, this time I'm not so much making it taller, I'm just working on the shape overall of the piece, giving it the basic profile if you look at it from the side. So I'm adding a little bit of a curve to that exterior surface. Again, I'm leaving a little bit of clay on there because it's got a flared rim on it, as you can see on the right. So here I'm starting to press on it, compress it a little bit, and flare it out. And that's where I use the spoon also to leave a nice consistent curve at the base of the lip. Here I'm just doing a slight mopping or touch up on the inside wall of the clay, smooths it out a little bit, and it also takes up the extra slurry that may be attached to the wall. Here I'm working on that small extra amount of clay at the bottom. I'm going to remove that so it'll dry as consistently or smoothly as possible. Sometimes I found that when I put it in the barrel and keep them moist, that they sometimes dry a lot slower at the bottom because it's a lot thicker, especially during the wintertime when they don't dry as quickly. So here in this case, I'm just going back and just do a little more touch up on the lip or the rim. Okay, so this piece is nearly done. I'm just doing a few fine touch smooths on the outside edge. Make sure the transition from one irregular curve to another is a nice smooth transition from the base to the bottom of the lip. After that, it'll be allowed to dry to leather hard. It'll be stained, and then it'll be relief carved all the way around. Then after that, it'll be bisque fired, and then after that, it'll be fired again to cone 05. And that'll be it pretty much for this piece here.